What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3. This is going to be game number 2 between Isurus Gaming and NoEarth Spirit. Currently, NoEarth Spirit with a 1-game advantage, and if they win this one, then they're guaranteed a spot in Division 1 for Season 4. But hopefully Isurus can pull it back, and we could have some good games that have very few pauses. Here on HeflaTV, I'm going to be one of your casters. I'm Mike Loris, and I'm joined by Grandis V.
Yeah, well, just a PSA, following up after the Desolator Tide, it has actually been bought once before in a professional game on Tidehunter, and it won. So 50-50 currently is the win rate.
So we need more data, obviously, to discern whether or not it's a good build, but it's a possible build, clearly. Legion Commander, the first pick. Have you seen Legion Commander before? Have you casted her yet?
Once. I recall it being pretty lackluster. I think they won, but not due to the Legion. I don't know. I like the hero. I think it fits pretty well into the current state of play. It definitely can snowball pretty darn hard. And it's a pretty solid laning hero. I'd like to see it picked up a lot more. Usually it's banned, though.
Yeah, kind of weird to see. I guess teams just either scared of it in their pubs or respecting it, although she is just a freshly nerfed hero. Regardless, it is another hero that you kind of want to build around. You want your supports to be very bursty so that once you lay the duel on someone, you pretty much instantly get that damage, and you don't give the enemies a chance to stun lock the Legion Commander or pull out their allies, however they're going to do that with swaps or something like that. So it's going to be a little bit of build around for NoEarth. The one time I seen Legion Commander was actually earlier today, and her team got smashed. It was not even funny. She was in the mid lane, and I expect that to be the lane where she goes again this game. However, versus the Brewmaster, that matchup isn't, I don't think, going to be the best for Legion. Should be like 60-40 Brewmaster.
I would say that's about fair. I don't know, anywhere between 50-50 to 60-40 Brewmaster. It's not a stomp for either side. Both of them just get their bottles filled, their bottle crows, spam out their nukes to get CS, although Drunken Haze is going to be very annoying for the Legion Commander, and she can't trade very effectively with the Brewmaster. Although, once she gets her 6, ganking the Brewmaster is fairly easy if you have any other stun to lead into the Brewmaster. Slight advantage for the Brewmaster, although I haven't seen the matchup ever. Scarlet Mage, the next pickup for Isurus Gaming. It's a solid hero in its own right, and also somewhat of a counter pick. Scarlet Mage, the single target silence versus the Brewmaster would be incredibly useful, as is the Mystic Flare when you're dueling somebody to burst down that target incredibly fast.
Well, at the same time, Legion Commander cannot move either when she's dueling, so Scarlet Mage is both good with and against Legion Commander, because once she lays that duel down, Scarlet Mage has a pretty clear objective: Mystic Flare the Legion Commander, and that will probably kill her, if not bring her extremely low. So Isurus Gaming, they're going to start off with 2 very solid heroes. They've proven themselves time and time again in 0.81, and I think versus the Legion, they're 2 very capable heroes. So the Drunken Haze is going to be relevant later on, and of course the Brewmaster can hold his own in lane, but so far, Isurus Gaming, they have pretty much everything they could possibly want in order to slow down what NoEarth Spirit have, and that one kind of X Factor hero that it's kind of hard to evaluate just because we rarely see her and because she's also so new. They're going to go with the Shadow Shaman to partner up with Legion Commander. It's a ton of lockdown. It's not exactly the best combination, but they're two very powerful heroes in their own right, so that's fine.
Yeah. Either setting up for getting in range for the duel, if you're able to get Hex into Shackles off and just allowing Legion Commander to jump in before she gets a blink, or something along those lines. Ether Shock is pretty solid inside duel, as is Serpent Wards if you're around them. But yeah, there's no super clear synergy. I think they're just two pretty solid heroes that are going to be more or less just in their own little world. Legion Commander is going to be looking for the pickoffs, and Shadow Shaman, after they get the pickoffs, will transition that into the tower push. It's kind of how that's going to work. Terrorblade is going to be banned up by NoEarth Spirit, as is Vengeful Spirit. And then we're also going to have the Centaur ban coming out from Isurus Gaming.
Yeah, so NoEarth Spirit, making sure that they're the only ones to get the new heroes in this game number 2. Vengeful Spirit, also great hero versus Legion because you can mess with her so much with that swap. It pretty much screws up your duel, and then you're without honor, and no one wants that. So a good ban out for NoEarth Spirit. Also, it's just a potent hero overall to deal with, as we saw from NoEarth Spirit in the last game. Isurus banning out the Centaur is, pretty much just run-of-the-mill ban out strong heroes. Right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban out something along the lines of a Viper or someone similar to that. So, really, with NoEarth Spirit's comp right now, they have pretty much a mirror of Isurus Gaming's, in that they have a solo lane hero and they have a support. So, both sides can go anywhere, and we'll see where they want to go. Usually, that's very clearly revealed in the 4th pick, or by the 4th pick.
Yeah, for now, Isurus Gaming can go in pretty much any direction with these two heroes. If they do want another hero that can really mess up Legion Commander's dueling days, you could snag the Shadow Demon, to disrupt whoever she's dueling, or Legion Commander herself, depending on how you want to roll there. Yeah, that could be a solid choice for them. Dazzle is also pretty good, being able to grave the target, or they might just go for something altogether different. Earthshaker's still in the pool, and I think that's one of your most solid supports that's available. Not a great reason to avoid that hero. And if they don't pick it up, it's going to leave it open for NoEarth Spirit to snag as well.
Well, we'll see what Isurus Gaming actually want to pick up for their secondary support. With Skywrath Mage, there's no real need for any particular setup or anything like that. Obviously, having a disable is good. Don't really want to have a freehand disable like a Leshrac or anything like that. That just gets a little bit too rough, and it's plausible, it's possible, but it's not exactly the best combination, and you probably shouldn't take it if you can choose to avoid it. Also, as far as other cores are concerned, well, screw it. They're going to pick up DDX's Invoker, and you can't really go wrong with that. Much like the Skywrath Mage, once Legion Commander duels, it's going to be a Sunstrike on her.
Fish in a barrel. And yeah, Invoker, especially when it's played by DDX, even without any setup, those Sunstrikes are generally very much on point. It's a hero that they're going to be very comfortable with running, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really great choice for them. Meepo is not out of the question for Isurus, although I don't think they'll pick it up in the 4th phase, unless NoEarth Spirit get really squishy, and I don't know. I don't think so. Actually, they're going to go for the Pugna, so maybe, just maybe, we'll see a fullback Meepo this game. But yeah, Pugna is going to give NoEarth Spirit quite a bit of pushing power of their own. Shadow Shaman and Pugna can mow down towers very effectively, with or without a creep wave. As long as she can get it to the tower, the spam coming out from the Nether Blast as well as the Serpent Wards is going to bring it down eventually. Although the nerfs to Tower Gold is going to make this a little bit less effective for NoEarth Spirit, they do still have a Legion Commander to fall back on as a scaling hero. Although not your traditional 1v5 type of carry in the later portions of the game. If you steal a lot of damage or get a lot of damage from dual wins, you can definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Isurus are going to stack themselves up in Enigma. A lot of teamfight coming out from them, and it will set up NoEarth Spirit for a Rubik pick. I think this Enigma pickup for them is a little bit out of place. I'm not sure if they really wanted to go so greedy with their last support, or at the very least pick that up last.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a weird pick. It doesn't really do great versus Pugna. And when you know you're going to be up against a Pugna, you know that he's probably going to be core. You don't really want to pick heroes that are bad versus Pugna in the slightest, because Pugna is a very delicate hero in more ways than one. I mean, if you get on top of him, he'll die, but also his game plan is very delicate. He needs to be pushing things, and if you somehow manage to extend the game, then you're pretty much in the clear. Enigma's not really great at doing that. I mean, maybe a black hole is going to stop a push from NoEarth Spirit, but again, with the Serpent Wards and the blasts from the Pugna, the towers are going to be dropping left and right. And NoEarth, they have 2 of their cores right now. Probably it's going to be so they're them looking for a Tie Hunter as their last pick. Maybe not because it's banned out now, but you know, something along those lines. They need a solo lane here on the off lane. A Clockwork wouldn't be too bad either.
Yeah, I think Clock's pretty solid. Legion Commander could theoretically solo the offlane pretty effectively, high base movement speed, as well as being able to spam out the waves. Although I don't think that's where they're going to go, it could be a potential option for them. Still left in the pool, there's not that much as far as top tier offlaners, so maybe something a little unconventional coming out from NoEarth Spirit, and potentially Isurus for that matter, if that's not an offlane Brewmaster, which it very well might be. Yeah, we have Centaur as well as Nature's Prophet banned out, Faceless Void taken out of the pool, Nyx Assassin taken out, Brewmaster already snagged up. What's left?
As far as offlane heroes, there aren't many really nice ones. For Isurus, I was going to say Beastmaster is still in the pool because we saw him last game, but Elder Titan is actually not a terrible hero here. He could like chip at your pushes with the spirits. He's not hit too hard by the Pugna. As far as killing off Legion Commander very quickly and winning duels for your team, it doesn't really get much better than Natural Order. He's fresh off of a buff. I actually like this Elder Titan pick, and usually I don't.
Yeah, Elder Titan, especially now that Dire has the lane equilibrium pushed a little bit back towards its tower, will be able to secure himself some pretty good experience. And Rubik and Shadow Shaman, they're pretty good for getting kills and zoning out an offlaner, but I still think Elder Titan will be able to get enough out of the offlane to be effective. And they won't be able to punish this by pushing the towers. Elder Titan will be able to pull off the creep aggro pretty effectively. Although slowly but surely, or maybe not so slowly, the Pugna is going to be able to push down that tier 1 eventually. Although not until Elder Titan picks up some decent levels of his own. Doom's a pickup for NoEarth Spirit. It's a solid offlaner, I suppose. I'm not a huge fan of this pickup, but it will be good to lock down the Brewmaster with that Doom silence.
Okay, so super advanced draft tech right here. You have Legion Commander duel someone, and then Pugna's healing her. Huh?
I'm not sure
Yes?
that's super advanced, but I like the synergy between that. Yeah.
Oh, come on. That is, like... You don't... Fine, be like that.
Well, it's something we couldn't see before. I like the synergy between them. It's going to keep the Legion Commander alive throughout a lot of this, and this Legion Commander actually has some pretty crazy items going on with the Arcana as well as a horse head.
Guys, Legion Commander's on fire. Send help. Anyway, NoEarth, they're one game ahead, and we'll see if they can close the series out 2-0. The Pimpin' Legion Commander is going to be played by CSO. Glacius is going to be supporting on the Rubik as well as Ahart on the Shadow Shaman. Alexi is going to be playing the Pugna core, and Fanasoyon is going to be handling the offlane, or presumably offlane Doombringer.
And on the offlane for the Dire side, it is going to be Isurus playing on that side of the map with Papita on the Elder Titan, now joining the rest of his team. I don't think he was playing with them last game. In mid is going to be Dulce on the Brewmaster, going to be fullback on the support Enigma, currently standing in mid to deny one of the creeps. The other support's going to be Skyrath Mage. Nadera going to be handling that hero, a DDX, on the safe lane solo Invoker. Or not solo, rather. Safe lane farming Invoker, I should say.
So the lanes are going to be, for the most part, exactly what we would expect. Invoker taking the side lane, Brewmaster in mid, and we might be seeing the Enigma making a couple more rotations than usual out of his jungle, just because he will be able to secure, or potentially secure, another rune for the side of Isurus, and at the same time deny that to NoEarth Spirit. So that is most likely what we're going to be seeing, but what I didn't expect we were going to be seeing is the fact that Pugna's actually going to be solo mid. It's okay, but also Legion Commander is going to be in a tri-lane. Now, we've both only seen Legion Commander once, so I think we've both seen her in solo lanes. Is that correct to say?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think Legion Commander can really do much when you're in a tri-lane. She needs the levels, and it looks like she's going to be offlane solo, in fact. With boots first, Legion Commander is going to keep herself pretty safe up against this tri-lane, or rather dual lane from Isurus. Invoker as well as Skyrath Mage can zone her a little bit, but she'll at least be able to get her level 6 at a decent timing. Although the Blink Dagger is going to be delayed, I think CSO is still going to have a decent amount of impact. We'll have to see. It's going to be interesting to see how offlane Legion Commander works. In theory, it could pan out for them, although it's not the conventional way you see it played.
She's going to get Arcane Bolts thrown at her pretty much 24/7. I would say just the Invoker by himself would be a pretty nicely one lane for Isurus, especially, you know, DDX's Invoker is nothing to mess around with. So CSO is really going to struggle in this lane to find anything. Has 3 clarities for himself, so he is prepared to spam overwhelming odds and try to get CS and at the same time harass but I don't think this Legion Commander is going to get all too much. Right now, he's going to find a little bit of free space since Nidara is currently occupied with the pulling operations, but soon enough, the Legion Commander is going to be zoned out, and at that point, what can Legion Commander do in this situation? Like, she doesn't have the survivability necessarily of a Tidehunter, nor does she have the control of Anchor Smash or just the durability of a Centaur, so I don't expect this Legion Commander to be entirely relevant in this game, and I don't know if they picked her with this in mind, but this doesn't seem like the best way to lane her, in my opinion.
Oh, I think that's fair. We'll have to see how it's going to work out. CSO is going to start stocking and potentially soaking a little bit of experience, but can't do very much. Although overwhelming odds might be able to take a couple of Eidolons and be annoying. Going to be sitting on that 2-minute rune for her team, or at least on the high ground, just spotting out what it is at the very least. As is the Skywrath Mage, they're going to bump into each other, and it looks like Dulce is going to pick it up. Who's going to snag it? It's a bounty rune picked up by the Brewmaster. CSO is forced to heal, taking a lot of damage, although will be able to back off safely. Is not going to be having a good time at all now. Very little regen left on CSO. He has one Tango, as well as another heal coming out from Press the Attack soon. But that's about it. The mid lane matchup, Pugna versus Brewmaster, is currently favoring the Pugna. Kind of as to be expected, although I would think the Brewmaster would do a little bit better. Currently, Dulce going to eat himself a Decrep as well as a Pugna Blast, taking a lot of damage there. And bottom lane, more or less uncontested by this other Titan, similarly to the... Legion Commander can't really do much. In fact, hasn't gotten his level 2 yet. And the other Titan's forced all the way back to base and is now TPing back. But Pita is not having a good time either.
Alright, so I think overall, NoEarth, they are winning 2 of the 3 lanes, which is pretty good. They are working against an Enigma, however. So, though they are winning the lanes, they have to worry about the fact that they have, on the other side, a hero who is getting uncontested farm. And I don't know if these lanes are being won enough for them to be comfortable with that, especially since CSO doesn't exactly have a backup plan, like if she gets shut down, as she is getting shut down right now, the Legion Commander. So if this game continues on, eventually NoEarth are going to be pulling the trigger and starting the pushes. Level 6 on the Shadow Shaman is going to come eventually, and they're going to look to take the towers. The question is, can they actually get a discernible advantage from that one? Because even though Isurus, their mid lane and bottom lane are doing remarkably poorly, they have DDX up on top as the Invoker, and they have fullback just jungling away. So all in all, I would say the laning situation is more or less even, and NoEarth is pretty much reflecting that fact. Not that it's not getting a huge advantage, although Isurus with the Enigma is going to be ahead in experience, as expected.
Yep. It's going to be fairly passive. I'm not sure where First Blood is going to happen. I'd assume one of these offlaners is going to die, probably Pepita, but currently is playing defensively enough. So it's not going to be the case. He cancels, I believe, a Clarity from the Shadow Shaman, so a little bit of less harass as the First Blood's going to be on the Pugna in mid, as he went for the rune and gets picked up by Nadera, as well as the Thunderclap from Dulce.
Yeah, the dueling for the runes is getting a lot more aggressive than I really expected. When you're Pugna, you don't want to be near heroes, and he was trying to hug the rune at the same time. Brewmaster was trying to hug the rune as well, so at that situation, Brewmaster versus Pugna in melee range, I would say Brewmaster would probably take that, and even though the press the attack was there, wasn't nearly enough to save the Pugna, who is pretty much just paper at this point. Also in the bottom lane, NoEarth going to get a kill on the Elder Titan, just to lift up into disables and stuff like that, so pretty run-of-the-mill initiation on a standard offlane hero, but I think NoEarth have to calm down a little bit with securing both of these runes. I mean, the first time Legion Commander barely escaped because press the attack does debuff, but the second time Pugna dies, and I don't think it's going to be going well for them the third time.
Yeah, the kill on the other Titan was my assumed First Blood is in mid. The split comes out from the Brewmasters. He's very low, and it will be able to turn on Alex as the Invoker notches a Sunstrike kill under his belt. And this Invoker is ridiculously farmed. Picks up the Midas at about 4 minutes and doesn't miss a CS, or if he does, it's very little. So disconnect comes out from the Pugna. Pause gaming at its finest. But yeah, DDX now with another kill is sitting on 400 gold on top of his boots as well as Hand of Midas. Similar farm to that of the Doom. A little bit more, in fact. Yeah, the Brewmaster escaping with very low HP. He'll be able to make it back to bases. There's nobody else to shock him down. That hero being the Shadow Shaman is smoked up, but he can't get in range. He's too slow a hero, unless Dulce gets ridiculously blocked by these creeps.
It's probably not going to happen. If there was like one more creep in the middle of this ramp area, then I could realistically see the Brewmaster trying to turn around and getting that one. He shouldn't know that these two supports are smoked up, although he should know that they're missing. So nothing should come of this, although Nidara also not too safe. I mean, he's very, very vulnerable with 0 armor, less than 400 HP. If he gets hit with the shackles, then certainly the Brewmaster can't do anything to help out, and then just the damage from Ether Shock plus a Fade Bolt can be the death of the Skywrath Mage. That being said, he's faster overall, so Shadow Shaman should struggle to land that first disable, but yeah, Pugna unable to help out, and still Legion Commander's getting shut down. The first blood, as well as this additional kill going the way of Isurus, and Brewmaster getting 2 assists out of that. Who got that kill? Oh, right, it was Invoker snagging that one with the Sunstrike. But either way, Dulce should be well on his way to his Blink Dagger, and then things get really hairy for Ban-Earth, especially the Pugna.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The Elder Titan's still not getting as much experience as Legion Commander, but Elder Titan can do a lot more without those levels, still offering the Astral Spirit extra damage as well as the Aura, and eventually he's going to get that up regardless. Legion Commander doesn't really get online until she has her level 6, so this is more crucial for CSO, although still doing admirably a little bit ahead of where the supports are in levels.
Alright, so as we stand, the Invoker probably going to be the most devastating hero from Isurus, along with that Brewmaster. They're able to pretty much insta-kill people, but that's not to say that Ban-Earth don't have tools to defend against that, namely the Doom, and to a lesser extent the Duel. I don't know how reliable that is as far as locking down and killing someone off. Usually you want to, be jumping on them first with the Duel in order to get that stun off so that they don't get the split off or black hole or anything like that, but Ban-Earth's burst damage, even when they start the Duel, isn't that high. So, I mean, though they do have some tools against it, they definitely don't have the most. Like, their supports are relatively low damage supports as well, Rubik and Shadow Shaman. Unless they want to drop Serpent Wards for a dual target, it's going to be hard for this Legion Commander to actually get off the ground. And if she's not off the ground, then what is she doing versus Isurus? Pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If it was on the side of Isurus, you have the Skywrath Mage Mystic Flare as well as the Invoker Sunstrike, but those are going to be targeted at the Legion Commander, so duels are going to be incredibly risky, and it's not going to be a great initiation tool. Maybe for snagging a couple of last hits to start off, but it's going to be a long time before this Legion Commander gets off of the ground, so yeah. Not sure if offlane Legion Commander is going to work out for Ban-Earth, or if it's going as planned at all. I'm not exactly sure what the thought process is behind this laning decision. I would have thought that the Doom would have been able to get more out of the offlane, and I think that would have been safer at the very least. Getting an early Midas for your Doom is nice and all, but I think just securing your Legion Commander an early Power Treads Blink, or whatever CSO's build is, and most importantly those levels to get the Duel online, is more important, since Doom isn't going to be doing anything regardless of whether he gets that early farm or not.
I think the crucial fact is that Doom has comeback mechanics. He has Devour no matter what. So he's going to be guaranteed at the very least some farm. And Legion Commander, if she gets shut down early, her skills are okay. Like, Overwhelming Odds is a mini Echo Slam, and that could be somewhat devastating, especially if you're up against an Enigma. But if that doesn't happen, then Legion Commander is overall just an underwhelming hero. So she will have Duel as a lockdown, but that's a very risky stun, or disable, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think that Ban-Earth are kind of missing out on a pretty big opportunity to put Doom up into the top lane, get him his Devour Gold regardless, and then he'll still be reliable in order to use his ultimate and then contribute somewhat to his team, and then get Legion Commander some farm, just because she does so well with it. Whereas Doom, though he does do well with farm, not nearly as much as Legion.
Yeah. Oh no, they might have even been able to get away with an aggressive tri-lane and just push down the lane incredibly fast, although Pugna would need a couple levels before that actually gets online, and it's probably not worth it unless they get a first blood or something along those lines. So, yeah, I think just throwing the Doom to the offlane is your best choice. Isurus, we haven't really seen this Enigma show his face much at all. He's been involved in one of the kills, but he's farming reasonably well. Not the fastest jungle farm on Enigma I've seen, but it's still good enough to get him his soul ring now as well as the boots, and presumably working towards a mechanism for his team. Yeah, Nadira is also going to be able to get a little bit of experience in mid in the Brewmaster's absence, and Brewmaster's not really missing out on much of anything. Currently 2 levels up on the Pugna. I didn't expect the Brewmaster to do this well, especially after the early start that Pugna got over the Brewmaster, and still leading in CS. It doesn't matter, since the Pugna has been the one to die twice.
Alright, so these pauses have just been so ridiculous. I'm like half rooting for Ban-Earth to win this, just so we don't have to deal with all these pauses in a game number 3. I know that's bad of me to say, but yeah, they've been pretty excessive, I would say. So
yeah, as bad as it is to hope for a quick series when you're dealing with stuff like this, I don't blame you at all.
I mean, hey, if they were like nice, fluent games, even if they were an hour long, I'm totally down for a game
Yeah,
3.
for sure.
But this is not Dota. This is Dota screenshot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that's the best time to see a game 3 is when you have like 2 close hour-long games. It's not like a farm fest; they're just legitimately close, and you want to see that game number 3 to see who comes out on top. But this, not so much. It's going to be game 3 of more screenshot Dota. We get to utilize the showcase feature to its fullest. We can watch Brewmaster hobble his way back to base.
Headbutt the melee creep.
Yeah, headbutting the melee creep. Yeah, beautiful.
He also has his like Earth dude who's still crumbling in the background. So that's kind
Looks
of weird.
Yeah, it is. Very peculiar.
Like
I didn't actually
evolution of
notice.
Brewmaster.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
climbing up from the Earth. So artsy. But I've already spun around everyone.
Yeah,
kind of-
I'm watching that in 2 minutes delayed. We have a beautiful showcase of the Dota models, and the Go comes out finally, as we do have Fan of Soin calling that one, and everybody's connected back into the game. And go, Alex Z. Yes, let's do it, Isurus.
And let's see
No,
if- What?
Sec. From
No, he
Pepita.
said go. No,
Go.
A
Okay,
Heart
good.
is not gonna get the initiation onto Nadera. Okay, that's the only thing that was potentially going to happen after that pause, and it seems like Nadera is in fact too quick. He shouldn't have been caught up by that, so it's a good thing that he didn't. Legion Commander does have a bottle now, so overwhelming odds spam. I don't know how good that actually is. It seems like it doesn't do that much damage for, to be worth spamming. It'll certainly stack up on the Invoker, but he has Quas to deal with it, so it's mostly just to get her CS, and, I mean, it's okay, but any other hero could do this.
Fair enough. I don't know, she's going to get cold snapped, and with the rotation from fullback, she'll purge that off, but the Black Hole is not going to be so lucky, as the Eidolon army is going to right-click her down. Invoker getting the last hit, and DDX is going to accelerate even more in farm. In the meantime, the runes are going to be secured. Brewmaster getting himself a haste, as well as the bounty secured by the Shadow Shaman. Yeah, Dulce is still a minute before he has the split, but still, Isurus are getting a huge amount out of these lanes. The Enigma pushing into this tier 1 tower now. They're going to secure this one, and this is going to be one of the most farmed Invokers you've ever seen. As Invoker, at this point, would be lucky to have just the Midas, but Power Treads on top of it, as well as 600 gold. I'm not sure you can ask for a better early game.
And he could go for pretty much whatever Invoker build he wants to. It's most likely going to be, I want to say, a Yule Scepter, although going for a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger, either way, it's going to be him contributing a whole lot to his team, assuming his team can keep up, because Elder Titan still is really struggling on the bottom lane, is going to be getting quite a bit of experience, and the changes to his scaling going to mean that he's always going to be contributing that extra damage as long as he survives, and I think that's pretty realistic to see him surviving. Brewmaster as well is going to be just fine in order to contribute to these fights, so Isurus, they're looking great moving forward, whereas for Ban Earth, their Doom still hasn't really done too much, kind of as to be expected from Dooms. Maybe at this point you want to see Doom being used once, but Pugna hasn't touched a tower yet, I don't think. Yeah, mid lane is barely damaged,
Pepita.
and Legion Commander certainly isn't doing much either.
Well, and Elder Titan is going to be doing less than nothing as he is sent back to base the wrong way. They didn't have mana for the Doom, but it doesn't matter. Just lift into the Shackles. Plenty of damage, especially when you have the Alpha Wolf aura to amplify that. So it is going to be another kill going the way of Ban Earth is in mid. They're looking for the kill on Alex. They are going to be able to find it. The lift is going to pull Brewmaster back. He does have the split available, but not enough mana. He does have it now, but can't go for the kill on Iglesias. 2 to 4 kill score. It's still going fine for Isurus in every lane, with the exception being the off lane.
Alright, so 2 to 4 now, and Isurus still looking pretty good. It's going to look so much better in about 300 gold for the Brewmaster once he gets his Blink Dagger up. Then, assuming he has his mana managed correctly, then he'll be just fine. CSO. Oh man, press the attack is certainly very useful. That additional regen, saving his ass there, and also purging off the Cold Snap. So it's certainly a nice survivability tool, but again, she's not getting anything out of this lane. They're going to try to go for Glacius over in the mid lane. Not going to happen, but they probably could get away with this push. Brewmaster just needs a little bit more gold for his Blink Dagger, and he'll have that one very, very shortly. Assuming he doesn't mess up any of these creep kills. Just needs one more creep or a tower. That's good too. And then suddenly Ban Earth, they can't defend this. They should be the ones pushing. That's what I would expect from Ban Earth's lineup.
Yeah, level 7 on the Pugna. They don't have a mechanism or anything on top of that. They still have the ability to spam down these waves. They haven't taken a single tier 1 tower. In fact, bottom is looking surprisingly healthy. I thought they'd be closer to taking that one down. Blink on the Brewmaster as well as Split available. We're looking for an Isurus initiation now on the enemy side. If the Pugna shows his face a little bit too far forward, it's just going to be blinked upon, and then the clap as well as Split to follow suit, and maybe not even that necessary if a Sunstrike lands. Pugna is completely paper, especially when you're dealing with, let's see, what is that? 5 levels up into the Exort from the Invoker. That almost 100 to 0 is the Pugna, and just with the clap as well as the Sunstrike. They are going to smoke up and potentially looking for a wraparound. They might bump into a little bit more than they wanted to, as the smoke is also going to come up from Ban Earth Spirit, but ships passing in the night, they're not going to find anybody. The smoke is going to pop and he jumps in. Dulce is going to be doomed and lifted up before he's able to get the split off. The Pugna is going to be the first one to die, but Dulce is going to fall one way or another. Will the deny come out? No, it won't. Level Death securing that kill. Papita's in the middle as the Shackle's going to fullback. Fullback is going to fall before he gets the black hole off. The Serpent Wards are going to come out, and the Shadow Shaman survives, although being chased by the Eidolon army, he's going to be fine. Papita gets a decent amount of damage to a 1-for-2 trade for Ban Earth Spirit. That initiation from Isurus, they were none the wiser about the amount of heroes that Ban Earth Spirit had in reserve.
That could have gone really, really either way. The fast Doom really turned that fight. If the Brewmaster was able to get a split off, that would have been clean sweep for Isurus. And also the Shadow Shaman pretty much soloing the Enigma. Though the Enigma did have his army behind him, Shadow Shaman shackled the Enigma within tower range. And this early on, if you're caught in tower range like that, you're just going to die. There is no two ways about it. So Ban Earth taking a much better fight than I thought they would have been taking, especially since Isurus had the jump on Ban Earth. But really shows the weakness of Pugna. It's a hero that if he gets blinked upon, he is just going to die, as we said constantly before. So Isurus with the Brewmaster showing off his new Blink Dagger. Even though he didn't get the split, he did what he was supposed to in isolating and killing off the Pugna. Unfortunately, the rest of his team just didn't have enough gas to follow up, but that's another story entirely, as Glacius potentially in a little bit of trouble as the blink forward from Dulce is going to catch the Rubik. He's going to get lifted up in the air. Now Echo Slam from Glacius is going to be returned by the Elder Titan. And now one more hit. There we go, Dulce. Whack him. Well, it's going to take a little bit longer, but Glacius is dead. No? Are you kidding?
Okay, that probably should have been a lot faster, as the middle tier 1 tower is going to be denied by the Legion Commander. Invoker's build is going to be a Necronomicon, so more or less going to be playing PvE, but still has the Sunstrike available. Bottom tower is going to be destroyed by the Doom as DDX TP's in, although has very little mana to actually pursue, and Phantom Soyan is going to be able to run away with that Scorched Earth. Movement Speeder Willie runs into the Malefice of the Enigma. The Courier flew overhead and could have been swiped down by Phantom Soyan, but now he's going to be clapped, and now the Cold Snap comes through, and Phantom Soyan is going to die, getting nothing in return. Yeah, so that's going to be all she wrote. The Courier, I'm not sure if he noticed it fast enough, but with the double damage onto Couriers from melee heroes, as well as the Alpha Wolf, that would have been a very easy cleanup for him. But still, a lot of damage going to be returned to fullback. It's not actually going to mean anything. Legion Commander, I think she has her 6 available, and she does. We still haven't seen a duel. In fact, she's level 8, just been sitting at this top lane in the absence of the Invoker.
Yeah, the Doom, even though he did go down, he was focused by 5 heroes from Isurus, and he lasted for a hell of a long time. He has the Vanguard and he has the Buckler, and if you don't know what that means, then that's fine. It means Crimson Guard, and against Eidolons as well as Forged Spirits, that's going to be a huge pickup for Phantom Soyan. It's pretty much going to make him more or less invulnerable to physical damage for the duration, even though he's facing up against Natural Order. So nice pickup for the Doom. I don't know if it's better or worse than Mech. I don't even know if Doom can feasibly get Mech for his team anymore. It seems like Pugna's going to be getting that one, so never mind. So yeah, Doom's going to be extremely tanky moving forward. Is it better than a Blink Dagger, though? That's the real question that we have to ask ourselves, and I don't know if it is, although I haven't seen a team really pick it up yet. TSO on top lane is going to get snapped up, and he is just so screwed. DDX is going to walk him down. No Necro Book needed. Easy kill up on top lane.
Yeah, not much else to say about that Legion Commander who hasn't done anything. The smoke coming out from Ben Earthspirit looking for a pick off. The Aether Shock can give that one away, as well as Pugna Blast. They bump into the Brewmaster, but no spells expand. They're not going to be able to cancel that one. And the Serpent Ward is dropped for this tower. The Pugna Blast as well. They get a clap off onto some heroes in the backlines. The Earthspirit to follow up. Alex is not going to be clipped by it. It's just going to be a zoning ultimate as Malefice goes away to Phantom Soyan. Tier 1 tower simultaneously falls. It's going to be a disconnect coming out from DDX, and we're going to have yet another pause, but at least something happened that we might have something to talk about it. And I totally agree.
This is...
Oh no!
What?
My frowny down face is all screwed up.
It looks fine to me.
Oh, it's not for me. It's like all going like everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's... I think it's just when you're drawing on the map at all, it shows up as multiple lines, which is truly crippling to the casting experience. We seriously, desperately need a fix for that. We need to draw on the minimap and need to be able to like draw Starry Night and all that good stuff.
We also need to be able to draw during pauses. This game more than most.
Oh yeah, so much more than most. Normally it's just like one pause in the beginning and that's enough time to just continue going over the draft, but not this game. Definitely not this game. Well, NoEarth, they took one tower and now they're going to go for more. The Isurus side are not going to sit back and let this happen though. They're going to take a tower of their own. Fullback on the bottom lane has a Blink Dagger first actually. Is anyone from Isurus actually getting a mech for the team? It looks like they're going to skip the mech this game, or at least get it super late. So, Blink Dagger first on Enigma. Though it is useful for landing a Malphus, I don't really know if I like Blink Black Hole this early on. It's just such an unreliable skill that it's not worth investing 2,000 gold into.
It might be the Elder Titan picking up the mech for his team. He has 2 branches of his own, and he could probably sustain it. He's not the most mana-intensive hero. He'll be able to have enough mana for everything if he pops Soul Ring. Crimson Guard is completed by your Doom. And Enigma, he'll be able to complete it eventually, if nothing else. CSA is going to pick himself up a Blade Mail, so if we're going any initiation of his own, Ben Earth Spirit, they're going to have some difficulty finding the jump on the enemy team, although they might just start barreling down these towers, and it looks like that's going to be their choice, as they 5-man and looking towards top, potentially going for a tier 2 tower push. Roshan.
Astral Spirit is going to scout everything, and Roshan was secured by the Forge Spirits as well as the Eidolons of fullback. At the same time, Pavita not even putting himself in any trouble, as the Astral Spirit I thought was going to miss the scout, but on its way back saw everything. And now Isurus, they're going to look for the bottom lane. They have level 2 book, and they already tore down the tier 1, so why not go for the tier 2? Without the Pugna up on top lane, Ban Earth, they can't make a sizable trade right now, and Pugna can't do jack to defend this.
Yep, it is going to be your Necro 3 coming out on the courier for the Invoker, and they'll have that for this push, and I don't think there's going to be a wholehearted defense coming up from Ben Earth Spirit. In fact, it looks like they want to go for the straight-up trade. I'm not sure they can do this very effectively, as they are missing their Pugna, and he's their mech carrier on top of it. Glyph's going to delay things, but it's only going to delay things, is with the Necronomicon army, as well as it being a Lacridede. Pugna Blasts are going to delay it, but it's going to be just straight up trade. Surfboards up in top. They're going to do some work to this tier 2 tower, although the first tower to fall is in the favor of Isurus. They are coming back and potentially looking for a return onto Phantom Sonians. They cold snap him up, looking for the Earth Splitter. It's going to be missed completely, I think, as Cold Snap still working away. The Scarlet Mage Ultimate and Phantom Sonians pretty darn tanky. Black Hole onto 2. They're going to find a decent initiation. It's canceled pretty quickly as he gets hexed up, although they also lose the Rubik on the backlines. And down to Earth, back with a Love as well on the Shadow Shaman. That's going to be a double kill for DDX, and 3 kills going the way of the Isurus, getting a tier 2 tower of their own and defending their tier 2 tower, presumably going to be denied. It's going to be a big win across the map for them.
That was an incredibly greedy push from Ban Earth. I mean, fighting after losing a tier 2 tower is always risky because you know the enemies are going to be teleporting back, and then I would say Ban Earth don't even have a stronger team fight right now just because Legion Commander does offer you so little. And without their Pugna, that means, as you said, no mech, no blasts, no Nether Ward, which is a crucial skill in this game for Ban Earth. They were really, really asking to get cleaned up there, and that's exactly what happened. If Pugna was up there, that would have been such a different fight. But because Isurus were the ones defending, they had the defender's advantage, they had the advantage in numbers, and Ban Earth take a very questionable fight in the end, and they get pretty much nothing out of it. They still might get this tower, as no one from Isurus seems to know that it's in deny range just yet. I'm sure someone might eventually realize that fact, but still, Ban Earth, they lose a team fight and they lose a tower, and Ban Earth should be the ones taking these towers and winning team fights at this stage. That's what should happen when you pick up a Pugna, but they're just not playing it as such.
Yeah. Legion Commander with the Blade Mail, it's able to return a decent amount of damage, and there's a very low chance that most of these heroes will get BKB, but Pizza dropping very low inside the jungle. He'll be fine since he does have Dulce to tank for himself. It's because he popped the Soul Ring. There's no global spells that can punish this. Another Titan is going to be fine to walk back to base. But yeah, fullback, his Black Hole was pretty on point, although it was cancelled very quickly. It was still enough to get the 2 kills that were crucial. We do have a smoke coming out from the Radiant side. They do have everybody with the exception of the Pugna smoked up and looking for a wraparound on mid. This could be the first time you see Duel giving some damage to the Legion Commander, but as of now, she has nothing. Well, they're going to bump into more than just one hero. They find themselves, Dulce is doomed up, lifted first, looking for the duel potentially. No, it's just going to be the straight up doom as fullback's going to take a lot of damage from that Pugna Ward, now shocked down by the Fade Bolt. The Crepify Pugna Blast is going to be death of the Skywrath Mage, as now Dulce on a full headlong retreat. They didn't use duel at all, so no damage gotten by the Legion Commander, but they can push in this tier 2 tower very easily, especially since Serpent Wards are now used. It is not long for this world, this tier 2.
the very rarest of situations where your team is killing the opponents too quickly. CSO was actually mid-duel animation when the Enigma went down, so Legion Commander would have had some damage by now. But unfortunately now she's going to be sitting very unhappily with where she's at, and you know, the duel is so important for Legion because not only is it infinite scaling, which is very unique in Dota, but also it's because the hero is kind of balanced around that. Her base stats are lower because the brilliant minds at Valve and Ice Frog know that Legion Commander is going to get acceleration through other means. But if she doesn't get that acceleration, then she's overall an underwhelming hero. So she really needs to get some dual damage eventually, or she could just tank up and try to be just returning damage with Blade Mail. Either way, it's not going to be too great of a Legion Commander game. She needs something, and she needs her team to stop being so effective and killing people so quickly.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's really what she needs. If she had a Blink Dagger, that would have been completely solved. I'm not sure if the Blade Mail really does it for me, but then again, I don't know. It's personal preference more than anything. So yeah, it's going to be a push coming out from Isurus this time. With Forge Spirits as well as the Eidolons, they can push pretty effectively themselves. Although the Wave Clear coming out from Banned Earth Spirit is pretty good with the Fade Bolt as well as the Ether Shock. They are going to put a lot of hurt in this Tier 2 tower. Alacrity on the melee Necronomicon unit. This is looking very similar to the push down in bottom, and it's just going to be chunked apart. They are going to kill the melee Necronomicon unit, although I think it's the creeps that get the last hit, so nobody gets the last word damage. Invoker gets the last hit in the tower, and meantime, Doom looking for the last hit up in top. He's not going to find it. He gets Malphite on the retreat, fullback with Blink Dagger, able to pursue him up. The other Blinks are going to come through as Dulce drops the split for this one. TP attempt not going to be successful. Stun him, anything. Yeah, there you go. Boulder Toss going to get the kill on defensive Soy, and that's going to be a killing spree for Dulce, as well as presumably a secure tower deny coming out from them. Or maybe they want to keep it there just so somebody else gets baited into looking for that extra bit of gold for their team. But that's going to be it for now. Everybody else is defensively enough positioned to where there's not going to be any action for a couple more minutes.
That was exactly like the push on the bottom lane. Like, not just the Isurus taking the tower, but also Banned Earth getting a little bit too overconfident up on top lane. Doom, he is extremely freaking tanky. Like, he ate an entire Mystic Flare and so much damage from all the other heroes, but he was able to actually survive the entirety of Mystic Flare, which is very, very uncommon to see. Regardless, Doom can't actually do anything outside of that because he was so overwhelmed with numbers. So, Banned Earth, they don't get a tower in exchange. They just lose a tower, and they also lose a hero. And now DDX has actually gone for a rather uncharacteristic item on Invoker. It's going to be that Assault Cuirass, which is, you know, in all respects, good item on Invoker. I think there are usually more attractive options, but if you're looking to push the high ground, and Isurus are soon to be at that point, then you're probably not going to find a better item than the Assault Cuirass for your Invoker.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to make him hit very hard. The extra attack speed does not go amiss on your Invoker, especially an Exhort one with that maxed out. Already pretty decent. The minus armor is going to be very useful for breaching high ground. Then you also have the protection against physical damage, which is a lot of what Banned Earth are bringing to the table. Doom, Legion Commander, right clicks, as well as the Serp Wards from the Shadow Shaman are a lot of your big damage sources. Bar the spam. Yeah, I like the item choice on the Invoker, although it's not seen very much. It definitely can work out. And especially for these heroes that aren't really operating with much armor, the Shadow Shaman with only 3, the Assault Cuirass completely negates that, puts him in minus armor, and then you add Forge Spirits on top, and then you have an Elder Titan Aura also working with, currently only level 2, but that's still enough to put pretty much everybody in negative armor, with the exception being the Doom.
Well, they're going to go and put that new Assault Cuirass to work as they're going to go straight in. Pugna finding time to draw a heart on the minimap, but I think it's time to back up and defend because there is a pretty nice push going down the bottom lane. Alacrity on the Necro units, and the tower is going to take quite a bit of damage. Blasts are going to clear out most of the creep wave, as will the Fade Bolt. And now DDX actually gets Force Staffed right back in. Nice play from Shadow Shaman if they could capitalize on it, which they can't. They lose the Necro units, but they pretty much take the tier 3 tower without any investment whatsoever. They could wait and farm the enemy jungle for another minute and then just go for round 2, or just wait for Pepita to land a stomp, or wait for the Nether Ward to dispel. Either way, Isurus invests absolutely nothing into this push aside from time, and they almost take a tier 3 tower. This is really dangerous for Banned Earth.
Yeah, CSO is showing his face, going to drop the overwhelming odds on a single hero, does very little to nothing. It is going to be just tanking from this Legion Commander, but they're just going to wait for this next creep wave and probably take this tier 3 tower without much of a fuss. They drop the Elder Titan Spirit up in the high ground. It's going to connect with at least 3 heroes, and now looking for the stomp. It's going to hit. They should probably be able to take this tier 3 tower. It's going to be denied by the Doom. They might have to back off and potentially... I don't know, just farm up for a little bit more before they feel completely comfortable and going for that again, especially since their tier 2 tower up top is being very heavily pressured. They're not going to go up and deny that, although I think they probably should. They're going to decide that their time is better spent still chilling around bottom lane, and they're going to have another Necronomicon in about 15 seconds. So not with this creep wave, but with the next, they might fully commit.
And they're just going to keep pressing the advantage that they have. Dare I say, they're going to keep pressing the attack against the Legion Commander team with the Assault Cuirass minus armor, and of course the minus armor from the Forge Spirits as well. They just have all this team fight advantage, and it looks like they're going to back off. Killing the tier 3 tower is a lot different from killing the Raxes, because it's harder to constantly throw stuff at the Raxes, being that they're deeper into the high ground. So I think it's smart for Isurus to back off. Roshan not going to be up for quite a long time. This is a relatively long respawn timer. Unfortunately for Isurus, they would have loved to pick that one up, but they don't have the option to. They could just go for a top tier 2, and if NoEarth can't defend a tier 3, they sure as hell can't defend a tier 2, so it should be pretty easy pickings there. They might even be able to just secure all the tier 3s, which is something we rarely ever see, but they took it on the bottom lane so easily that it seems pretty viable.
Smoke coming out from Banner Spirit looking for a pickoff. They might find DDX forced out forward looking for the Hex. They're not going to find him. Dulce is going to split. Hex goes the way of DDX. He's also going to be doomed up. This DDX is probably going to die as he's shackled under the wards and now being beat down by Phantom Soin. Phantom Soin up in the air. The duel is going to come out. And the winner for Legion Commanders, the Invoker, is going to fall. Scarlet Mage ulti onto the Shadow Shaman. It looks like he's going to fall to the birds, and he will. Scarlet Mage getting that kill. There's going to be a huge Earth Splitter. Now the Black Hole onto 3 with the Serpent Ward still working onto Fallback. It doesn't matter. CSO is getting the beat down from Pepita, and now Phantom Soin also going to suffer a similar fate as double kill for Nidera. 1 for 4. If you're going to lose your Invoker, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the ideal situation for Isurus. They lose, finally, some damage given to the Legion Commander. So she's at plus 14. But at the same time, I think that's pretty nice. Pepita coming in from behind with one of the best Earth Splitters I've ever seen, just because the positioning lended itself to that. And also, for whatever reason, Banner deciding to go again without their Pugna. Seems like an important hero to have. I don't know, I'm just a caster, but going in without your Pugna seems awfully dangerous and unnecessarily risky, especially when you're dealing up against a Skywrath Mage who is so severely punished by that Pugna on the field. And now they're going to take a lot of pressure onto their tier 3s. The respawns aren't the longest, so NoEarth will be back up. And I thought it was about time for one of these. We're going to have yet another pause, but no, not for very long, in fact. Maybe we'll just wait for these graphs to level out, and then we'll update the state of the game. But unfortunately for Isurus, the key hero that they did lose is the Invoker, and he's most of the pushing power. So they probably can't take anything here.
Yeah. No. Still a convincing T-fight win, and Invoker is going to come back very quickly. Just respawning back in base, going to TP up towards top and rejoin with his team. I think this tier 2 tower up in top lane is going to be their next objective, although Roshan is also very easy for Isurus to take. With the Assault Cuirass on Invoker, as well as just the army of summons, you don't even have to commit the Necrobook for it. It should be pretty straightforward there. The Brewmaster currently pushing out top, while the rest of his team is farming out the rest of the map. They're spread out, not going in any one direction together, but sooner rather than later, it's going to be another group up coming out from Isurus. There's not much stopping them from doing so. Black Hole is still on cooldown for a little bit under 2 minutes, so they might not go for another high ground push till they have Black Hole again from the Enigma. But there's still plenty of other places for them to go. Tier 2 tower up top or Roshan. Pick your poison.
And I think it probably should be Roshan with the Aegis, with the Assault Cuirass, as well as the newly picked up Shiva's Guard from the Brewmaster, Drunken Haze as well. Roshan should be pretty secure and pretty quick as with the Eidolons and Forge Spirits adding that DPS. So NoEarth, they know that Roshan is a possibility. They're going to go for it, but unfortunately for them, Isurus are not in the area. They could go for it themselves in theory if they want to deploy the Serpent Wards, but I don't know if that's exactly worth it. Like, having an Aegis on Pugna isn't really going to be winning you any games. Although, within a new Assault Cuirass, the Roshan steal from NoEarth is a little bit more viable. It's still just unnecessarily risky for them, and because they're so far behind, they don't really want to be caught off in a Roshan pit. If they get crashed there, they just lose the game.
Doom hardly cares about physical damage. With the Crimson Guard, 50 block while it's activated and 40 while it's not, as well as 22 armor, blocking 57% of all physical damage. Phantom Soin is going to be a pain to drop down, although they still can do it, especially if they isolate the rest of the teammates, which is more or less going to be the plan. Elder Titan going to drop his spirit, and, well, actually, no, that's the Rubik's stolen spirit. So Glacier's getting vision over the entire enemy team and getting a hefty sum of damage on top of it. Roshan's not going to go down. The Deafening Blast lands onto 2. The Elder Titan spirits are going rampant on either side, scouting out for both teams. The Necronomicon minion is going to be killed by Phantom Soin, but Maximum keeping him safe as Dulce walks up, gets the split off, and now trying to run in. The Crimson Guard popped by Phantom Soin. He's going to eat a Scarlet Mage Mystic Flare. Not going to kill him straight up, but it's almost going to do so as they are able to finish him up with a nice Earth Splitter coming out from the Elder Titan. Nice stun coming out from the Rubik, going to land on 4, but it doesn't matter as everybody's just falling apart. The damage from Isurus is ridiculous with that Elder Titan aura, which is only 3 points into it, which is actually pretty surprising. Now it's completely maxed out, but still, no black hole necessary. It's just Isurus destroying the enemy team. The Earth Splitters this game have been really on point from this Elder Titan. A lot of it's due to where they're taking these engagements in these really small little portions of the map where there's like just a really nice line that you can drop all of the heroes into, and I don't know, it's really working out for Isurus.
Yeah, Ban-Earth do not want to be taking these clustered fights against Enigma as well as Invoker, and the Elder Titan easily able to apply his aura to everyone. It's just so much damage that Ban-Earth cannot withstand. Even the Doombringer, he had with a full-on Mystic Flare that is, I believe, level 2 at this point. It is. And with the level of aura that the Elder Titan has, it's just not good enough to survive. I don't care if you're Doom, you're going to die to that. Now, well, the split was stolen by the Rubik. It's going to force Isurus away, although I think if they really want to, they could just turn around and kill these things. The rest of the Ban-Earth side are right behind this Rubik, and they're looking for another rock to be thrown. However, it's going to be a Cyclone up into the Evoker. They're up into the air, but Dulce is going to jump right in. Black Hole from fullback, going to catch 3. He's going to get instantly interrupted, though, but the damage is going to be enough to kill off CSO as well as Phantom Soyon. And now Glacius and Alexi on the front lines, not what they want to be. Ahart and Alexi, the only ones left, and Pepita and DDX are going to chase this one down. Doom on the Invoker, he doesn't care because he has actually, you know, just a lot of items. That's going to be another clean sweep, and DDX isn't even going to die to the Doom. Ultra kill for DDX. That's going to be one set of axes at the very least. They can slide to the bottom lane and take another.
Yeah, they've already gotten the barracks in mid before that actually happened when the Rubik chased after them. That's going to be 2 lanes, and it's just such a hard game for Ban Earth Spirit, if it's even possible. Let's see, buybacks galore. 1, 2, 3 coming out from them. The Rubik's the only one that has buyback that's going to be spared. It is Alex is going to be able to get off a Decrepify onto the Brewmaster, but it doesn't matter that much as he's 4-staffed away. 4-staffs galore coming out from the Shadow Shaman as they jump with Dulce. He has another split available. Now Deafening Blast blows up. The Split Earth isn't going to be that great, but the Legion Commander is still going to be dropped down to the sheer right clicks coming out from Isurus. He's going to Decrepify himself, Alex, but he's still in between too many enemy heroes and Brewmaster minions. A perfect split, and well, the TP comes in from the Boots of Travel on the Enigma. They're going to blow up the Rubik with a Sunstrike, and GG from Phantom Soyan, who is currently getting brought down inside his own base. 1-to-1 rampage going to be there for DDX. That's going to tie up the series, and into a game 3 we go. This one had less pauses than game number 1. I'm hoping the trend continues, as hopefully game 3 goes off without a hitch, and we get to watch some exciting Dota, which it should be.
Alright, so score is tied, guys. Again, winner of this secures, I believe, their spot in Division 1, and this is why we saw Ban-Earth ban out the Invoker in the last game, because DDX has a really good one, and he really showed it off in this game. But we're going to moving on to a game number 3. Don't go anywhere, guys, because that one's going to come up shortly, hopefully.